All right, geometry. Here are some review on writing the equation of a line. And you can always watch this more than once if you need, or go to Khan Academy and practice some more. But remember to start off with, before we get into the actual equation, remember that your slope is the difference of the y values over the difference of the x values. So you always are going to need to start with that. And then point slope form, if you were to cross multiply your slope equation, you would get something similar to the point slope form. What's nice about this is all you need to do is find your slope, choose a point, doesn't matter which one, I should say x1, y1, and then plug it in. You usually don't even have to simplify. If you're going to use slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, then you will need to find your slope, and you will need to plug in a particular xy and then solve for b. The way I will be doing it is I will be finding the point slope form and then putting it in slope-intercept form from there. But it's your choice, whichever way you want to do it. And then lastly, we are also going to be working with perpendicular slopes. So if I have two slopes, m1, and I have a perpendicular slope to m1, perpendicular to m1, I'm going to call that m2, their relationship is that m1 will equal the negative reciprocal of the other slope. And another way to check is m1 times m2, if they are perpendicular to each other, should equal a negative 1. And we will then practice these in the examples below. And I'll use both forms because we occasionally ask for one form or the other. So given 2 points, write the equation of a line that passes through these 2 points. So I'll call this one x1, y1, this one x2, y2. So the first thing we want to do is find our slope. So the difference of our y's, 6 minus a negative 1 over the x's, 4 minus 3. Make sure you go back to the same coordinate that you started with on top. When we simplify that, we get 7 over 1, which is just 7. So there's my slope. So now to put it in point slope form, I can choose either point. I'm going to choose the 4, 6, just because it has no negatives. That makes it a little easier. Y minus the y value equals 7, x minus the x value. And you're done. That is a completely legitimate equation of a line. Now, if we want it in slope-intercept form, what I would do is I'm going to then just distribute 7x minus 28, and I'm going to then isolate x, so add 6 to both sides, and that's going to give me y equals 7x minus 22. These are both equivalent equations of a line, just in different formats. So you want to pay attention to what form we ask for, whether it's point slope, where you have a point and a slope, or whether it's slope intercept, because remember the b value represents your y-intercept. Now it asks me to write the equation of a line perpendicular to this line, but passes through this point. So the first step here is to put the given line, 2x minus 3y equals 8, we want to find its slope. So we're going to put it into y equals mx plus b form. There is also a shortcut. Your slope is going to be, but that's memorizing another formula, so I just would rather you isolate the y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 2x minus 8, so I'm subtracting 8 and adding 3y to the other side. And then I'm going to divide every term by 3. So this line becomes y equals 2/3 x minus 8/3. So we can now see that our slope, so if I want a parallel line, I'll use 2/3. But they asked for the perpendicular slope, so I'm going to take the negative reciprocal. So I'm going to be using -3/2 for the slope of my line. So first I'm going to put this into point slope. I'm going to use the given point, so we know that's y minus -2 equals -3/2 x minus 3. That would be the equation of a line perpendicular to that given line, but passes through the point 3, -2. Then I can also put this into slope-intercept form, again by isolating y. So first thing I'm going to do is distribute -3/2 x plus 9/2. So you multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. And then I'm going to have to subtract 2 from both sides. Now because we have 9/2 minus 2, I need a common denominator. So 2 is the same thing as 4/2. So what I'm going to really do is subtract 4/2 here, so that I have y equals -3/2 x plus 5/2. So that would be, and I'll write it again out here, a little neater, y equals -3/2 x plus 5/2. There are your two equations, one in point slope form and one in y equals mx plus b. All right, good luck.